Hi and welcome to this week's Ask Charlie. It is Q&A time. I've had so many great questions from you guys. I haven't filmed a Q&A for a while. I think the last one was back in February with Simon. Now, before we get going, I want to apologise. I'm a bit sniffly. The hay fever is really bad at the moment in the UK, and I do suffer from it. So my eyes are a bit and my nose feels like I've got flies up it. Anyway, if any of you suffer from hay fever, you will know what it's like. So hopefully I can actually feel a sneeze coming on. That is how I am for a few weeks of the year. Anyway, let's get diving into these questions. First up, we have, how do you keep motivated to stay on top of everything? Cooking, washing, kids, etc. I think my motivation is if you don't do it, it just mounts up. There's nobody else that's going to do it for you, so you've just got to crack on, dig deep, be a grown up and just tackle it. And actually I find it so much easier to stay on top of everything, and it's much easier, you know, if you don't do the washing for a few days, it just builds and builds and builds, and then it's more of a challenge. So I like to do a little bit every day. I find that so much easier. Yeah, so washing, cooking, I love cooking. I'm really passionate about it, but you know, batch cooking is the way forward. I talk about batch cooking a lot. You know, if you're going to cook something, make extra, put it in the freezer, and then when you're busy or, you know, just not in the mood for cooking, you can pull something out and have a healthy, good home cooked meal. So I just feel for us as a family, if I keep on top of things, it makes life so much easier. So that really is my motivation, just to, you know, just to do it. And yeah, there are days when I don't feel like it. There are days when I don't do the washing, and then there's more the next day and I always regret it. So little and often is my motto. How did you travel to Scotland recently? We flew with EasyJet, and I actually thanked them at the end as we were flying back. The service was excellent. I was a bit apprehensive about it, to be honest. I didn't believe we were going to get there until we actually got there. I thought it might be cancelled or goodness knows what. But it was so slick, so smooth, so easy. We all wore masks. It's EasyJet's policy that the children wore masks as well, I think over the age of 6. And, you know, that was fine. Obviously, you wear a mask from the moment you set foot inside the airport to the moment you leave, apart from, you know, eating and drinking. Social distancing was really respected, which was lovely. There was no sort of bum fights or queues or, you know, rushes to get on the plane. It was actually a really, really pleasant experience, and I thanked EasyJet for that, because I wasn't anticipating it to be such a pleasure, to be honest. So, you know, they got a big thumbs up from us. Lots of questions about this. This is pre-loved. I got it from my friend Juliana. It's Marilyn Moore London, and I've got a few Marilyn Moore things, and it's just cozy, comfy. It's, yeah, it's like my comfort blanket. I absolutely adore it. So that, yeah, is a Marilyn Moore number. Gluten-free picnic ideas. So I think the things that spring to mind to me are egg muffins, which are great for packed lunches, really great for picnics as well. And then things on skewers, so maybe roasted vegetables, meat, fruit skewers, things like that. You know, some lovely, lovely salads with some grains. You don't need to think picnic and bread rolls. Not at all. I think some really, really lovely salads and, you know, lots of fresh things, roasted vegetables, grilled meats, things like that are also perfect for a picnic, not just a barbecue. Time management, question mark, is the next question. And I talk a lot in my Efficient Home course about time management. There is a whole section dedicated to it. And there will be an Efficient Home course coming again in September, so I will be redoing it for those of you that are interested. And we cover every aspect of time management, and I give you loads and loads of kind of tips and advice. But I think the most crucial thing is to just plan your time in advance. So whether you want to sit down on a Sunday and plan the week ahead, or whether that's, too much for you, and whether you just want to do it the evening before and write a to-do list of all the things that you've got to do the following day. And you can do it in different time slots as well. So hopefully that helps. But if you want to dive a bit deeper, then my Efficient Home course in September will be perfect for you. How do you get the energy to do it all? Well, if I don't do it, nobody else is going to do it, which I think about quite often. But there are a few things that I do on a regular basis to give me more energy so I can kind of crack on and do it. So my workouts in the morning, which really kind of set me up for the day. Rather than making me feel more tired, I actually feel energized from them, and it gives me the kind of get up and go just to kind of crack on and do it. And I feel so much better, actually, the fitter and stronger I am. It gives me more energy, and it helps me kind of tackle all the things that I've got to do during the day. And then the other thing that I do on a regular basis is I drink matcha tea, which I love. It is this green powder. I don't love it. It doesn't taste amazing, to be honest. It's all right, but I know that it's doing me good because I have so much more energy when I drink it, and I'm so much better for it. It boosts your immune system. It increases your metabolism. It does all sorts of incredible things. I've done a whole blog post on matcha tea and why I drink it. It's incredible. So I do drink this at least twice a day. It's slow release caffeine, so rather than giving you the kind of highs and lows of other sources of caffeine, this just gives you a kind of nice gradual, like a plane taking off gradually, which is amazing. So those, are my kind of two key things: exercise, drinking matcha. And you just got to get on and do it. So you may as well do it with a good heart, because it then makes it more effortless, to be honest. How do I get black mold stains off white walls? Okay, the first thing that you need to know about mold stains on walls is actually that walls need to breathe. They need to be aired, and so make sure that the room is ventilated on a regular basis. Even in the winter, air the room, let the walls breathe, and then you're less likely to have a build-up of mold. Trust me, I've grown up in old buildings. We live in an old house, and so it's really important to air rooms and to let the walls breathe. But if you do have a build-up of mold, then I can really recommend HG mold spray. And it's excellent for tackling, that black kind of mold that you can get on walls. It's a really good product. You can buy HG products from most, good hardware shops. So you can get it online. It is, pretty readily available. They have a great selection of products, and their mold spray is really, really good. You could also use a little bit of household bleach and dilute it into water, and use that in a spray bottle. Obviously be really careful, using bleach and leaving it around for children to get hold of and spray, but that works quite well as well. Just, mix a bit of bleach with water and then spray that on and give the walls a good wipe. But the most important thing is to let those walls breathe, and then you're less likely to have a build-up of mold. How do you maintain a happy marriage whilst having 3 children? Now that is quite a question, and I think if anybody tells you that their marriage is perfect and incredible and amazing, they're probably lying. Marriage takes working at. It's not always plain sailing. There are highs and there are lows, and I think the most important thing is communication with each other. We're not mind readers, so we need to say how we feel. And if we are feeling, down, if we're feeling a bit flat, voice that. Say, I'm not in a great place at the moment. Be kind, be gentle to me, whatever it may be. I've always been, or we as a family have always been pretty strict about the children's routine. So they have gone to bed and then it's our time in the evening. So we've known that time is for us as a couple, and we can sit down, we can chat, we can spend time doing things together, talking about things, whatever it might look like. We always eat together, which I think is a really, really crucial thing as a family. You know, either we're eating as a family of 5 or Simon and I are sitting down and eating together. Sometimes he'll come home for lunch and we will sit down and we will, you know, chat about whatever's going on. I think making time for each other during the week is really important. So whether, you know, that is going for a walk and getting somebody to come and look after the children, whether that's having date night, whatever it might be, make sure that each week you set aside some time to be together and to talk and to communicate, or just to go and have fun and go and do something different and keep things kind of lighthearted. Always ask each other, you know, how your day's been. Always, you know, just make time and be thoughtful, because if you're thoughtful and say, you know, darling, how was your day? You're going to get a thoughtful husband or wife or partner back. Do you know what I mean? You know, if you're kind and thoughtful to somebody, you're going to get that sort of response, where if you're short and snappy, they're going to snap back. So you might not always feel like you want to be kind and loving, but actually just take a step back, think about it and think, you know, actually there's no point snapping at this, or, you know, whatever. Let's just say, you know, have you had a difficult day? Do you want to chat about it? So I think communication is really key. Time is really key. Make sure that your children respect that actually you are a couple, you know, whatever that looks like in your family, but make sure that you have time as a couple in your relationship, and that the children respect and understand that it is grown-up time, and, you know, you have your time during the day, but now it's time for us as parents just to, you know, communicate and be together. And always, always, always go to bed having apologized to one another, having resolved an argument. Don't go to sleep furious and cross with one another, because then it rolls into the next day, and that is not a good idea. And I think if there's something that has upset you, that there's something that's bothering you, don't brood on it, talk about it. You know, sometimes I will call Simon in to, you know, sit down and have a chat with me and just say, you know, darling, can we just go and just talk together about this, because actually I need to get it off my chest, rather than it becoming a kind of much bigger issue. So those are my top tips on, married life with children. Do you have a skincare regime that you can share? And nail care, your nails always look nice. Thank you, that's really sweet of you to say. I love Tropic. So this smoothing cleanser is absolutely excellent, and I use their vitamin toner. I cleanse and tone and moisturize morning and night. SPF 50 is on my face every single day. Tropic also do a beautiful bamboo cloth that comes with the cleanser, and I actually, it's going to sound sad, but I get excited about washing my face because this cleanser is just the most beautiful thing. So I think cleansing, toning, moisturizing is absolutely essential. Looking after your skin is really important. I'm not always so hot on the eye cream, which I need to be because the wrinkles are coming, but I do it when I remember. Nails, I use Essie, and I think it's called Essie Gel. This is woven with wisdom. I use this and I probably do my nails once, maybe twice a week. This is pretty long lasting. I use a base coat and a top coat. And again, I have done a YouTube video about my nails and what I use and what I do. And I just feel like I've got my stuff together if I've done my nails nicely. I feel if they're all kind of chipped and messy, that I don't know. I just, for me personally, I feel much better about myself. And it's the little things like having nice nails and, I don't know, putting a spray of perfume on that makes you feel so much better about yourself. It takes seconds, but actually it really elevates your mood. So those are my top tips. As part of my kind of skincare wellness routine, I'm also taking these supplements. So that's an omega-3. This is a clean collagen ultra, which I swear by. Actually, it's been really, really great for hair and nails and skin. And I've been taking these supplements now for a good 6 months and have definitely noticed a difference to sort of overall wellness. So I can really, really recommend the Clean Body Company for those. Who is your favourite fashion icon? Okay, I find this quite difficult, so I'm just going to go with the names that pop into my mind first, which the number one person would be Lee Radswell. So that's Jackie Kennedy's sister. She was so unbelievably stylish, just spot on every single time. I just look at pictures of her and think so effortlessly glamorous and sophisticated. Audrey Hepburn, Coco Chanel and Olivia Palmero, I think, is just exquisitely beautiful. But I think my grandmother was so stylish, so beautifully dressed and really elegant and sophisticated. So that was lovely growing up watching watching her get ready, and I was very close to her. She wasn't always an easy lady, but super, super stylish, and I wear a lot of her things still today. This necklace was my grandmother's and I live in it. It's my absolute favourite. I actually feel pretty naked without it on. I do wear other necklaces, but I always go back to this, I think, because it's very sentimental as well. I get so many questions about it, and actually Sam, who owns New Clarity Jewellers in Petworth, can make similar. So get in touch with Sam. I will leave his details in the description of this video. So if anybody would like one of these necklaces, I'm going to give you a close-up actually of it. He can make something similar. So and it is quite unusual, and I've worn it, I think, since I was about 18, 19, something like that, pretty much every single day. The children always grabbed onto it when they were babies. I'd be like, hang on, let go. What advice would you give to your younger self? Now, Coco actually asked me this question a couple of weeks ago, and I said to her, the first thing, I wish I had studied harder at school and, really put in a lot more effort than I did academically. That is one big regret I have. And I think the other thing is not to worry about what other people think of you and just be your own person, because it's boring if we're all the same. Don't follow the herd. Just, trust yourself and be happy in who you are as a person, and don't try and conform to fit in with everybody else or try and be something that you are not to please other people. Can we have a tour of your children's rooms? I need some inspiration for my daughter. So I'm going to take you upstairs and I'm going to show you Coco and Gus's room. I'm not going to show you Archie's because actually he is almost 13 and I need to redo his curtains and do a few things in his room to make it feel a little bit more grown up. So that is something that I am planning on doing, hopefully within the next 6 months, but I'm not putting pressure on myself. It will happen when it happens, to be honest. So Coco and Gus's room, I will show you and give you a quick tour of them. I will not be tidying up or cleaning particularly for you. I'm just going to show you how it is real life, because I think a lot of times on Instagram we see things that are all kind of styled, and their bedrooms are very much their bedrooms with all of their stuff in. So anyway, enough of me prattling, let's go and have a look. This is little Gussie's bedroom. Now he has just had his 10th birthday and it is packed full. He's a real collector of all of his favourite things. There will come a time in the next year or so that we will need to make this a little bit more grown up for him. He chose the fabric on his curtains. He absolutely loves bugs and creepy crawlers and all sorts of creatures. So he's got this room packed full of all sorts. The polar bear was a present from his godmother. And these are all special things that mean the world to him, which I think is really important, that children have, you know, all of the things that they love around them. And then his bed is here, and he loves cuddly toys, so he has got them all at the end of his bed. Whenever we go anywhere, he wants to take them all with him, which he can't. And each of the children have got one of these, which I had made for them when they were born. So that is his initials on the boat. That is Pippa, our Labrador, his weight. George the pony that we had, his time of birth, he was born at 5 to 5. And then Coco and Archie are in there with Tess and Maud, our little dogs, and obviously his name and his date of birth, which is just really, really special to have. So I love that. And I just think a children's bedroom should be full of, you know, their special things and their, you know, their memories to have. But I know there will become a time in the not too distant future that we need to make this a little bit more grown up for him. I've had so much fun over the years finding gorgeous things for the children. So this is by Reese, and beautiful, beautiful illustrator of children's books. This is actually by Gus's godmother, and it was a card for him, which I just thought was so beautiful. I had to have it framed. And then this, which is a little difficult to see with the polar bear, but it's called Water Sports, and it is by Margaret W. Tarrant, who again is a wonderful, wonderful illustrator, and I just adore her work. And I think it's really lovely for the children as they've grown up to see these really pretty pictures in their bedrooms. And then Coco's bedroom. So I've not made an effort for you guys. This is very much how it is, but I just thought I'd show you quickly. So this is Coco's bedside table, which is from Dragons of Wharton Street, and it's flower fairies, and it's hand painted, which is really sweet. And then various pictures. Now these, we've got 4 of them, and I'll give you a close up in a sec, were from Simon's mother, and I never met her, but I just thought they were really gorgeous and lovely to have and keep. And actually this bed was from Simon's parents as well, which is really, really lovely. Coco's put LED lights around the bed. And then I love to do a bit of stitching. In fact, it's wonky, and I made that for Coco when she was born. But look, I mean, they're just so pretty. And then this is Coco's, which is again by the same artist that did one for Gus and Archie. So her name and date of birth, her time of birth, our address. And we only had Tess and Pippa then, and her weight. And I just think it's such a gorgeous thing to have. It's also really good for me, so I can't forget what time she was born or what she weighed or anything like that. So yeah, I just whiz around. And again, this is by Molly Brett. Now Molly Brett is also another incredible children's illustrator, and I just adore this. I think it's so fun and so gorgeous. And then Coco has got a desk in here, which actually she doesn't use as a desk. She uses it more of a chest of drawers. Ooh, you can see my legs. So that is her little sort of makeup vanity kind of setup area we've got. We don't have big bedrooms, so yeah. Anyway, also need to paint over there. A slight problem with the curtain rail. During lockdown, I think maybe she was swinging on them, so this side has been fixed, but we need to paint. That side is yet to be done, but she has got a blackout blind, so all the children have got blackout blinds, which I really recommend. And then round here is her desk area. So this was actually my dressing table, and she uses it as a desk, and then she's a complete and utter bookworm, so she's got quite a few books there. And then there's another Molly Brett, which is covered with her sort of rosettes and her special prizes that her and Cassie have won. So this is Coco's bedroom. Now for the curtains in here, obviously they're not up at the moment, but I just went for something really kind of neutral that would last, you know, actually will last her for years and years and years. So when you're thinking of decorating a children's bedroom, you know, choose something that will last. You know, she'll have this bed for years. Obviously we can change up the pictures, we can paint it, we can do all sorts of things, but curtains is an expensive thing, so choose something that will last quite a long time. How do you deal with bickering children? I think bickering children is a bane of every parent's lives, isn't it, to be honest? So if we are in the car, there is a couple of things that I do. The first thing is turn some music on, to be honest. So if they are squabbling, I often find if I turn some tunes on and we have a sing-song, it distracts everybody, the mood changes, the mood lifts, and they stop bickering. And that actually works a treat, and that's been something that I have done for years and years and years. And if we're in the car as a family with Simon and the children are squabbling, I'm like, darling, come on, just put the tunes on, let's have a sing-song. And the mood just changes instantly. If that doesn't work, I stop the car and I refuse to drive until, you know, they've stopped squabbling or they've apologised to one another or apologised to me or whatever it might be. So we will sometimes sit in a lay-by for, you know, 10-15 minutes, and if they're late for something, then they have to explain why they're late. And I have done that a few times, and that works incredibly well as well. And I just, you know, stop the car and refuse to drive. If you're going to be squabbling and arguing, it's dangerous for me driving while this racket's going on, whatever it may be. At home, I think I just call them all down. We sit around the table and we say, enough of this. You know, what on earth is going on? Let's sort this. What is the problem? Let's discuss it. And, you know, normally it will be something really petty and I'm like, guys, is that a big deal? Come on. Enough of this, go and sort it out. I do try and let them sort things out amongst themselves, which I think is really important, that sometimes, you know, you need to intervene. But also, you know, diversion tactic is pretty good as well with little children. You know, just remove them from the situation, change, you know, like, you know, you're on camera or whatever, change the scene, change it up, go and do something else, and that really helps as well. You know, children will bicker, they will squabble, they will argue. It's really interesting, the dynamics with 3 children. If one of them is out of the situation, you know, the other 2 might get on better, or, you know, vice versa. It's kind of all changing the whole time. But I think just try and, you know, divert, whatever it might be. But if it's a big argument, then sit down and say, come on, let's bash this out. Let's talk about this. What is going on? And just defuse the situation as quickly as you can and move on to the next thing. Where were you on holiday? It looked lovely. It was lovely. And it was a bit of a trip down memory lane, to be honest. My father was in the Air Force based up where we were. So we were in Aberdeenshire. Near the Moray Firth. And actually, if I was going to be a boy, which Mum was convinced I was a boy, I was going to be Charles Moray after the Moray Firth. So my parents spent their first years of married life up there. They met in Aviemore, and so we were sort of around that area. It's beautiful coastline and really, really magical. Simon was at school in the area. We know it well. We love Scotland, so we were having a trip down memory lane. We stayed in Lossiemouth and we just explored all of that coastline. Coco is passionate about dolphins, so we went to the dolphin centre. It was quite windy while we were there, so we didn't see any dolphins, but it was, yeah, just wonderful being up there and having a change of scene. And I'm passionate about seafood, langoustine in particular, so there were lots of langoustine enjoyed, and, you know, fresh crabs and things like that. And I think the sea air is just wonderful for the soul. Lots of walks along the beach and playing in rock pools, which was really, really great fun. Do you have a good chocolate brownie recipe? I do have a really good chocolate brownie recipe. It was Mum's recipe, utterly delicious. She used to bring a tin of chocolate brownies to visit us at school, and we would enjoy those with our friends. Sometimes I wasn't so good at sharing, to be honest. I'd keep the tin for myself. But Mum's recipe is in my afternoon tea recipe bundle, which is available on my website. And I'll make sure that the link is below this video so you can get that. It's full of my favourite kind of cake and afternoon tea recipes, scones, lemon drizzle, Victoria sponge, those sorts of things. And Mum's chocolate brownie recipe is there too. What's your favourite summer salad recipe? Oh my goodness, I just love salad. So it's quite difficult to choose a favourite, but I think probably lettuce leaves with nectarine or peach, mozzarella and parma ham, and some balsamic glaze drizzled over with a piece of crusty sourdough, I think would be my probably perfect summer lunch salad to enjoy. This is quite a big question. How did you know you were ready to have children apart from being married? Now, obviously it was a little bit different for me because I was marrying somebody that was older, that didn't have children, who really wanted to have children. So as Simon actually said to me, I want to get cracking. I had fertility problems. My estrogen level was low and I wasn't ovulating regularly at all. So before we got married, I actually started fertility treatment because Mum insisted we had a year's engagement, and Simon and I were keen to start our family as soon as possible because that was the right thing for us, because I knew that it might not necessarily happen overnight, and actually it didn't. It took us a couple of years. And so I think my advice, and this is probably quite controversial, is don't wait until you think it's the right time. Just get going with it, because it could take a while. These things don't necessarily happen when you plan. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. Sometimes it can take years. I've got friends who waited to start their families and they had a really, really challenging journey. And in fact, some friends haven't been able to have children, and that has been really sad for them. And maybe if they had started earlier or met the right person earlier, whatever it may be, maybe that would be different for them. So I think my advice is don't overthink it. If you're in a secure, happy relationship, crack on and go for it. Do you have any mum guilt about working, not working and being available for your children? Yes, absolutely. I don't know anyone that doesn't have mum guilt, to be honest. I mean, I'm just speaking for myself, but there are lots of times where I haven't been here, I've wanted to be here, things are happening. I'm really lucky that I work from home, so I can be around and I can be really flexible and I can fit what I need to do around the children. And that for me works really, really well. I think I would find it harder on the mum guilt side of things if I was working from somebody else and I had fixed hours, although I think life might be easier because it would be less of a juggle. So there is always mum guilt, I think, but it is important to kind of take a step back and think, hang on a minute, why am I feeling guilty about this? It might be that you've missed their first steps, missed their first word, you're not there to pick them up when they fall over, whatever it might be, but you can't be there all the time. And I think it's important that children know that you have a life as well, and they respect that. And my children understand that I'm working and I'm busy, and sometimes if they want to go and do something in the holidays, they have to help me, and then we can go and do that thing. So for example, like if I've got the B&B turnaround to do, the kids will come and help me, we can get it done quicker, and then we can go off to the beach, for example. So I think there is always mum guilt, but it's really important to explain to your children that you need to work and you know, they can muck in and help too sometimes. And I think, you know, it's great. Sometimes Coco will do some videoing for me, or Archie will take some pictures, and they are embracing that. And so I have less mum guilt because I am involving them as much as possible. So hopefully that kind of helps. It's a bit waffly, a bit random, but I think us mothers, us women often feel guilty for things that we shouldn't necessarily feel guilty for. I hope that you have enjoyed this week's Q&A. I'm sorry that I'm a little bit sniffly and sneezy, wretched hay fever. It's a bit of a pain, but hopefully in a couple of weeks it will be better. But thank you so much for tuning in. Give this video a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it. Please remember to subscribe. Please spread the word about Ask Charlie. The more, the merrier. Sending you loads and loads of love, and have a fabulous weekend, and I will see you next week.